and this would be the part where we try to figure out if we got good levels.
Do we have good levels? Levels of blood alcohol content, huh?
If we're talking blood alcohol content, no. I have no levels at all.
Me either. Not yet.
I need more blood in my alcohol and a little bit more alcohol in my blood.
I want to suck your blood.
As long as that's all you want to suck, we're good.
Hey guys, this is your warning. We do post up spoilers. At times we're relatively offensive. We use vulgar language. So if you think that any of those are gonna offend you in any way, shape, or form, take your step back right now. Because, buddy, this is not the place for you. Anywho, have fun listening to us. And yeah, this has been your final warning.
Welcome to a place where we are exactly what we expect from each and every movie we watch. We are low budget, we are occasionally going to make you feel guilty for laughing, and we are definitely low quality. We are Cinematic Anarchy.
Cinematic Anarchy.
Alright, and here today is, of course, me, Chris, El Jefe, and across the way...
Zephyrs. Or Zeph. Or the Zephmeister.
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
There you go.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of Seth, I shall fear
Zeph.
of Zeph.
You said Seth.
Yeah, but whatever. It's all me.
It's all you. All right.
That's all me.
So, this week we are going to head and doing this midweek special. We just picked up a Blu-ray copy of Sergeant Kabukiman, NYPD.
Kabukiman!
Yes. And I really wish that we were actually recording that, like live streaming, but we're not.
It's alright. I do a bunch of things in the background with my hands.
Yeah, you like to do that thing where you move your hands all around and you try to get all expressive, but when it comes right down to it, fucking microphone can't hear a thing your hands are doing.
But it helps with my voice. It, like, the actions speak for the words, but the words speak for those actions as well.
Seth flails arms. Okay. Anyway. Lloyd Kaufman directed, Lloyd Kaufman written, Lloyd Kaufman produced. I love it when Lloyd has everything to do with everything in regards to the movie.
Yeah.
Those are some of the better ones. We did not make you watch softcore porn this time. So this is your actual, I think, third experience with Troma, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. So you got your first experience. We watched Class of Nukem High.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Romeo and Juliet was number one, and then we watched Class of...
I believe Class of Nukem High was first. It was one of those were one of the early episodes. And then Romeo and Juliet, well, that may have seemed like it had been such a long time ago. It's sort of a PTSD with us right now.
Block that out of my head.
We want to try to block it out of our heads, but I'll tell you right now, you can go back, listen to every single podcast we have made since we have done Romeo and Juliet. We have never done a podcast without mentioning it. Since having watched that movie.
It traumatized us. It traumatized us.
Yes, just a little bit. And that was, I apologize, not really what I wanted for like our first Troma experience as a group. Me and you watched one. That was fine. That wasn't like hardcore porn all the way through. Not just hardcore porn, hardcore incest porn.
Yes.
Ugh. Then, of course, we watched this. This is your second foray. And there was a little bit of TNA there, but it wasn't quite as...
What's a good movie without tits and ass?
Oh, that one scene in the movie between Sergeant Kabukiman and, was it Lotus? It was a little drawn out.
Yeah. A wee bit.
I mean, I appreciate boobs as much as the next guy, but it was uncomfortable after a while.
Nah, I was like, this Asian chick better get naked at some point.
I think almost every girl that was in the movie got naked, outside of maybe the old ladies.
Just about.
Pretty much. Actually, no. The girl from the other... Oh, I can't even remember the name of the team. So you know the oh god, Pastor Snipes.
Yeah.
How he had all those guys kind of working for him, and he was kind of defending them in the church and everything. The female, the one that originally came after the female cop,
yeah, but she
kind of lured her.
She was braless with like a revealing shirt. She wasn't completely topless, but enough.
That's something you could appreciate about some of these older grindsploitation movies. They're not as PC as everything is destined to be from here on out.
Yeah. But when it comes to the Troma movies, this one wasn't bad.
No, this one was not bad. It definitely was not PC again. Troma, that's one of their fun things, is that they do not do PC at all. If you don't like to be insulted on pretty much every level, don't watch Troma. And also, don't go to a Daniel Tosh concert. You don't want to see him on stage if you don't want to be insulted on every level.
No, just, pull up your pants and be a big boy about it. Fucking laugh at jokes that need to be laughed at. Don't bring it to another level. That's what's wrong with America. Anyways, let's talk about Sergeant Kabukiman.
NYPD.
Whatever that guy
I don't know what he did. That was Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure what that whole thing that he did at the end was.
It's making fun of, not making fun of Japanese, but Japan. It's like Japan oriented.
It's like manga, really. It's just that kind of weird anime that they do. Not like there's good stuff, and then there's like ultra weird stuff. And
Don't
that's
talk about my genre like that, okay?
Hey, you can even admit there's good anime, and then there's stuff that's so weird you watch it and you're like, I don't know what the fuck what did I just do? What is that?
Nope. Well, watch them all.
Fever Dream. Well, you smoke a bit, so you're used to life just being that way.
You don't know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I really don't know anything. I'm clean.
Clean. You saying I'm dirty? Shit's legal now.
No. When I say clean, I mean like I am unexperienced in the ways of smoking. The few times that I tried in my past, I actually got violently ill.
He's a noob.
It's not just a noob. It's just whatever it was that I smoked with these people, it just turned me off to ever smoking again. I drink, so I may be drug free. I am not alcohol free ever.
Alcohol is the worst drug of them all.
How do you figure?
Alcohol is the gateway drug.
Alcohol is the gateway drug? Gateway to what?
Anything. Everything.
Anything and everything? So you feel like,
alcohol is worse than...
Alcohol leads to heroin abuse?
Can. More than marijuana.
If you are a drunk, you're more likely to be a crack addict?
Definitely.
Definitely?
Definitely.
I suppose if your judgment is impaired, it's a little harder to turn down meth.
I'll smoke that. Goddamn.
I don't know about you. These bath salts taste pretty good. Those are actual bath salts. Well, fuck.
No, but like one of like the opening scenes of this particular movie, though, they literally do. He's like, yeah, check out this car. They're talking about how like the stock market people like have insider trading stuff and how that's illegal, and he just doesn't care. And they're doing cocaine off the top of the car. I mean, very poorly
rolled $100 bills, just doing cocaine off the top of the ragtop Mercedes.
Yeah, I've seen children snort soap that looked more like cocaine, but whatever.
I'll guarantee you it was just confectionery powder.
No, it wasn't. It was like a cotton ball, and they were just pretending to do it. It was like so badly.
Well,
done.
one of the dudes had a little powder on his nose.
Powdered donut from the guy eating donuts. So
Confectionery powder. What do you think I'm talking about?
No, on the car itself, though, like it was just like a cotton ball that was.
Yeah, but the shit on his nose, it's confectionery powder.
Yeah.
Or it could just be fucking baby powder for all I know. It may not even be edible.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Go back in time, lick his face, and you tell me.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just randomly walk on set, lick the dude's face. No, it's talc.
It's talcum powder.
It's definitely talcum powder. That is not confectionery sugar.
How much cocaine do we have to do to go back in time to lick this guy's face?
I'm already there, man. I'll be licking in a minute.
Oh, God. As for Sergeant Kabukiman, though, I actually enjoyed this movie, like, through and through. It was... If that was the first Troma movie that I watched, I would watch them all.
I wouldn't say that would be true. But, I mean, there's a lot of Troma movies that I truly love, and there are a lot of Troma movies that look like a drunk uncle picked up a camera and said, all right, everybody, you're going to do something for me.
Yeah.
You know. And there are quite a few of those. I actually really liked this movie that a lot of people tell me is just pure shit called Killer Nerd. There's Killer Nerd and Bride of Killer Nerd. I think I showed you a little bit of that.
Yeah, the first few minutes of it.
It was definitely... That was VHS, just VHS all the way through. It's not direct to VHS. It literally just recorded on VHS.
Yes.
They didn't have the equipment or the money to get the equipment at the time, but they had the VHS camcorder on hand. They're like, hey, we know how to edit with a couple of VCRs just kind of attached to each other, which is something they actually taught me in English class when I was much, much younger. Not something I retained.
They taught you how to do videography.
Basically, yeah. This is the same teacher, mind you. We walked into school one day, and you can get him off subject real fucking quick.
Yeah.
And we were talking literally about Romeo and Juliet when we started the class. By the time we ended the class, we had gone through subjects like how do you drown a fish, and we were talking about Cher's test tube babies just before we got out of class.
If you guys are curious how to drown a fish, you grab it by the tail and pull it backwards.
Yes, we've already been over this.
Not on the podcast.
No?
No,
we never talked about that on the podcast.
Now we have.
Just drag it backwards so all the water goes back through the gills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to be a fish murderer.
Right, I mean...
Or if you're like Sergeant Kabukiman, just like fresh fish.
not fresh fish. Dead fish.
Well, I mean, most fresh fish is dead.
Who comes to an Italian restaurant and eats a dead fish and orders
dead mackerel?
Like, shut up, bitch. I'm Sergeant Kabukiman. You know, like...
It's got to be like Italian fish dishes.
Haddock.
Haddock, or you feel like the entirety of the haddock population, that species,
Shrimp
it's all
scampi.
Italian? Okay, well, there you go. Shrimp scampi. But I'm saying, that's not fish, really. That's shellfish, I guess. No?
Can't be.
So, no, Sergeant Kabukiman, honestly, is probably going to be one of my favorite Troma movies. It's, again, one of those things that I wanted to watch, and I've been able to pick up copies of, like, Class of Nukem High and Toxic Avenger with no problem. And up until recently, I have not been able to get a hold of Sergeant Kabukiman, like, anywhere.
Yeah.
And I just saw a sale on it, and I was like, yeah, hey, Amazon, so we're going to get that sent to me right now. Well, I got enough credit, just send it my way. Here we go. Give it to me.
So I have one of my favorite animes that I watch, One Piece. And there's a character, Kanjuro, and he dresses kind of like a Kabuki character, and he actually does the thing where he hops on one foot. You know what I mean? Like, oh! And like, now I know where the reference came from.
Well, just Kabuki theater in general, I think.
Well, the hopping on one foot, like, I'm Kabukiman, you know, I'm Kanjuro, you know. For the One Piece one, he actually takes a lot of outside references throughout everything and throws it in there. So, and I'm pretty sure he got that from this.
Well, the more I'm watching, like, these little interviews here and there, you know, I've been watching, like, every time I pick up a Troma Blu-ray, I watch, like, the interviews, listen to the audio commentary, and you pick up little things. Like, I didn't realize that, like, he had a direct connection with a couple of the guys on Impractical Jokers. That's how we were just watching a few moments ago.
Which, great.
You know, 12 degrees of separation. I'm sure you can get back to Kevin Bacon somehow. Not 12 degrees. It's 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Is that what it is? Or 6 degrees?
That I'm not sure. You got me there.
You got to figure out how many people you pick out an actor, and then you see how many people you can use to connect that person to Kevin Bacon. Some people are really talented of it. Some people, they don't really need all that much. It's a couple people, but Kevin Bacon's worked with a lot of folks.
Yeah. That I can definitely see. But what was your favorite part of this particular movie?
My favorite part, I'd say it was like dead center. Like, he's doing the Kabukiman thing. Like, of course, you have the beginning area where he first gets his Kabuki powers, and then you have that first instance in the park where he has to save his cop friend, or I guess girlfriend. I'm not sure how that really worked.
He moved on from that relationship.
Very quickly. Very quickly. He's about as much of a hoe as some of those guys in the Return of the King. Not Return of the King. What is it? Your movie, man. The one that you wanted us to watch. In the Name of the King.
Okay.
Those In the Name of the King guys, they moved on real fucking quick, too. They were known for that. But no, I think my favorite part was you get partway through the movie, and he tries to access his kabuki powers in the middle of the church, and instead turns into fucking Bozo the Clown.
Yeah.
And so all of his powers, rather than being kabuki-related, are all clown-related. He's like breathing fire, riding unicycles, you know.
Which, the breathing fire thing would have been a great weapon to use in that chase scene, you know what I mean? Like, come near me.
It would have been a great weapon to use before he even left the church.
Right. Instead,
it's in the middle of the chase scene when he's riding the unicycle to get away from these guys.
that he made from a tricycle because he stole it from a child.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite bit in the entire movie, was just him having defeat... He could use the kabuki powers with no problem, but apparently the clown powers, which he had just acquired, confused the hell out of him.
Right. I feel like he didn't use them correctly. He was expecting the kabuki power. He got the clown power and was like, this isn't right, and like panicked. I feel like if he really put himself through the ringer on that, he could have used it to full potential.
What can clowns do that'll assist me? Just think about it for a second. That's all he had to do with the kabuki thing.
Right, we'll go, like spray him in the eyes with acid or something. You know, the Joker's a clown.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's more of a Joker thing. I think regular clowns just seltzer water.
Yeah, but the Joker's a clown.
Yeah, that's true. But, and mind you remember one of the kabuki powers when he first turned into the Kabukiman in the park. His shoes had to make connection with him first, so he left the shoes behind, which then kind of honed into him, hit one of the guys. Now, can you imagine that if were clown shoes? Clown shoes are fucking huge.
Right.
I could have taken at least 3 guys out.
Pump, pump, pump.
So what's your favorite scene in the movie?
When Lotus got naked.
I was going to say other than the boobs, the TNA.
There was a lot of good parts to it. The blowjob part would have to be my favorite, though.
I forgot about the blowjob. My God.
When he walks into the office of the guy who ends up being the main villain, and he's just like, if you don't mind, like, I'm not going to stand up. And you see, like, a woman's head bobbing up and down, and it looks like he's getting a blowjob. And then she, like, stands up with a shoe shining kit. She's like, I got an extra shiny for you. And it's like, oh, okay.
I like midway, because he really played to it, too. Like, midway, he's like, okay, a little harder, right?
And, not so hard, you know what I mean? Perfect.
And then she goes, those are really scuffed up, but I used this brush, and I got the hard brush, yeah. No, that was a good scene. I appreciated that.
Yeah, that would definitely got to be.
And I appreciate the constant ridicule that he gets from all of his cop mates about being caught in the kabuki dress, when in all honesty, almost all the cops there are pretty much useless.
Yeah.
Including, I eat donuts when I'm nervous cop.
Yeah.
So that guy...
He was an asshole.
He's actually a mainstay in, like, a lot of the movies. So he's in, I want to say, at least 5 that I've seen anyway.
Yeah.
That's Joel Fleischaker, who he kind of... In this particular movie, like, every time he gets really nervous, you see him just stuffing his face with, like, powdered donuts. Which is why I figured confectionery sugar for the guy in the beginning, because they had to have had powdered donuts on hand for this guy to stuff his face.
The whole time. Like, we'll pay you with powdered donuts.
That's probably how... He gained a bit of weight later on. Like, he was kind of thin here. I mean, not thin, but he wasn't, like, as heavy as I've seen him in some other movies. So you move on, and I think, like, all those donuts he was eating... It got to him after a while.
I can see that.
But, I enjoyed this movie thoroughly, like, all the way through. Like, there's a lot of Troma movies from that time period that were actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, this is actually, like, the high-quality end of Troma movies. This is, like, when they were at their peak. I guess they must have had decent funding back then. Were able to convince people to put money into them, even though these movies pretty much were all direct to VHS.
There was in the opening scene when they stab the Asian guy and they throw his wife out the window. It's just a regular, like, window that you would see in, like, a city apartment. But when they throw them through, it's like it has the wooden cross, like, across it and everything. It's a completely different window.
Now, let's point out the fact that this movie started, and within literally a minute of the movie starting, 2 kids get murdered.
Like, those are the worst kids ever. Like, they're just like, hey, yay, ha, yeah, there's a stranger.
Dude in a wig who's in our house just pulls a knife, and he's brandishing the knife at them, so the little kids are like,
well, mommy and daddy are having sex in the bedroom.
Right. First of all, worst kids ever. The parents didn't teach them shit. Worst parents ever. Having sex in the other room while the kids are just playing blocks on the floor out there.
I do want to say worst mom, because those were not half Asian kids.
Huh?
I do want to say worst mom, because those were not half Asian kids.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, because that was the original Kabukiman, right? Mm-hmm. So he was Kabukiman before these guys killed him. And he passed on the Kabuki powers. How did he pass on?
He didn't.
I'm confused by that.
I think it just the old guy was the man who bestows the power.
Okay.
Like, he's like the shaman that, like.
He's the shaman that, like, transfers the power from person to person.
Yeah, like, he chooses who becomes Kabukiman. If someone were to die, the next, like, he chooses the next one, so on and so forth.
There can be only one at a time.
Maybe he was the previous Kabukiman and then passed his powers on to a younger version. You know what I mean? And he became, like, the shaman.
And, so I didn't actually clue into that at first. So the Asian guy, redheaded woman, I want to say not redheaded, more like a strawberry blonde almost. Yeah. And those kids out in the parlor were definitely not part Asian. So they may not have been able to find part Asian redheads. I mean, it's logical to think that it may have been tough to cast that.
Give him a wig.
But I actually
do a full Asian. It's fine.
One of my favorite actors in the movie was actually one of the main thugs, Brick Bransky. Is it Bransky? Bronsky, sorry. Who's actually been in a couple of Troma movies. So he was in this one, but he was also like the main character in both Class of Nukem High 2 and 3. So he's been in a few Troma movies.
Yeah.
I think those are the only movies he's actually been in. Now that I'm looking on IMDb, those are literally the only Troma movies he's been in, outside of 2 other movies which he starred in, which were Masked Mutilator, which I'm not sure is a Troma film.
Sounds like it.
And a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie called The Quest, which I'm going to have to watch now just to see Brick in it, because...
I've seen The Quest.
You've seen The Quest?
Pretty sure. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's... he has to... fight in like an underground. It's like an underground Balls of Fury tournament.
Underground Balls of Fury.
No, yeah, it's like an underground like fighting tournament that he has to embark on.
Which seems to be like the theme of like several of his movies.
Yeah,
you know, I am regular person. I get involved in fighting tournament. I win fighting tournament. I save day. Usually, it has to do with my brother got killed. You know, and now I must. Avenge him, and also help his wife and child out live a better life, while also falling in love with my brother's wife. What are you looking for? We're going dead for a minute here. What do you got?
Yep.
What?
In the slums of New York City during the 1920s, petty thief Chris Du Bois finds himself on the run from the police at the docks. He hides on the outbound freight ship leaving for Asia, taken to a mysterious land. As the boat docks in Thailand, Du Bois is introduced to the underground world of martial arts fighting. He is trained...
Dubois.
Whatever. Du Bois.
Dubois.
Du Bois.
Dubois.
Du Bois.
I'm sorry. Dubois.
Du Bois. Yeah, so the underground world of martial arts, and he has to fight.
So you like Du Bois?
Du Bois. You
okay.
like Du Bois.
It's supposed to be French.
Well,
just like it's not Benoit, it's Benoit.
I am not
you know.
French.
Whether he's French Canadian or just French from over the seas is one of the one, but he is French. So it is Du Bois, not Du Bois.
He is Du Bois.
It's not Du Boise, like you're in fucking Idaho.
Well, he's in the slums of New York. It's Du Bois.
Yeah, but he's also a Frenchman in the slums of New York. He doesn't speak with a French... He speaks with a French accent. He does not speak with a Brooklynite accent. So he's not gonna pronounce it like he's Joe Pesci, you know?
Forget about it.
Yeah, okay, I'll forget about it. So, final thoughts on the movie.
Final thoughts on the movie. Very well put together as a movie. A little dragged out.
I think they could have compacted a few of the fight scenes. There are a few small things they might have been able to cut out to make the movie flow a little bit better. But when it comes right down to it, you got to take Troma movies for what they are. These guys can know that they're, mostly going straight to VHS. In this case, now it's DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. Yeah. In some cases, direct to streaming. They'll throw stuff up on Amazon. They actually have their own streaming site now.
Yeah.
And what it is you're allowing people, in some cases, that don't have other chances to go out and present their materials. And it's like, hey, look, we're not going to restrain you. We're not even really going to edit you all that much. What we want you to do is we want you to take your screenplay and we want you to take your idea for the movie and we want you to do anything that you want with it. And that's why these fucking movies work. Yeah. They're not PC. They pull no punches. There's a bunch of TNA. It's definitely going to offend you. And that's why I love it.
Didn't offend me at all. It was great.
Oh, there was plenty of offensive material in that movie. Plenty of offensive material. However,
I don't see offensive color or anything.
it takes a lot to offend me. It really does. After I grew up on these movies. Actually, like my first Troma movie, I remember me and a buddy hitchhiking out to I want to say it's the North Shore Mall down in, is it Danvers or Peabody? I think North Shore Mall's Peabody's Liberty Tree is out in Danvers, Massachusetts. So we went down to the North Shore Mall, and we went to Suncoast Video. And that's what I spent my paychecks on. So I'd get a paycheck doing whatever job that I'm doing. At the time, I was like 15 years old. I was getting $4.75 a fucking hour to wash dishes, basically. I took that paycheck and I'd go down there and I'd go through their cutout bin. John's buying like $20 VHS movies out of wherever. And I'm going through the cutout bin where the movies are like $2 to $5. And I'm just like, here, I'll take this stack. Shut
up and take my money.
I had milk crates all over my room just filled with VHS cassettes. And then I'd wear out a VCR and I'd go get another one. But there was always a Troma movie or two there, like in Building 19. Building 19, thank fucking God for them. There where I found the original Evil Dead movies, 1 and 2.
Nice.
Which the Evil Dead movies, I used them to torture every female that came over to my house. Tortured them. You know why? You're drawing a blank here. Have you ever watched the original Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a scene in the original Evil Dead movie where this girl is wandering out in the woods. And all of a sudden, the vines animate themselves and attack her and drag her to the ground. And then the vines slowly spread her legs, and then one vine just goes right up the cooch. And I would sit there knowing full well I've seen this movie 8 or 9 times already, and every girl that I bring over to my house, as that scene's coming up, they're watching the movie, wide eyes, and I'm just looking to my left, waiting for the reaction. I love the reaction every single time. Just some of them, shock and horror. Some of them, why the fuck did you make me watch this? And almost all of them just meet my eyes and are like, asshole.
I gotta go.
We're done. Why would you make me watch this? Okay, let me finish your final thoughts. I interrupted you.
Yeah, you did. No, all in all, it was a great movie. I enjoyed all the bits and pieces of it. You know what I mean? I've heard of Sergeant Kabukiman like throughout life. So now that I've finally seen it, I can put 2 and 2 together. Did they have a Kabukiman too?
No, they teased several times. During the interviews you were watching with me.
Yeah.
About possibly doing a Sergeant Kabukiman LAPD.
Yeah.
But
which they should. I'd prefer that over Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Mind you, well, they're doing a remake of that too.
Right, I'd prefer this one over that.
But mind you, the Class of Nukem High series, they just did 2 new movies. And I think like the last one was almost 20 years ago. So it's Troma. I mean, they get a little bit of funding. If they're able to pull the project together, they're going to do it. They've got friends all over the place. They've been making friends for decades, 40 years.
Yeah. They did,
40 years of Troma Entertainment.
The Gremlins.
What?
Not the Gremlins. What is
They
it?
do the Gremlins?
Whatever the one it is.
What are you talking about? Hobgoblins? That wasn't them.
Well, they ended up making a secondary Hobgoblins one.
That wasn't them?
Newer, though. I know, but...
Well, yeah, I know. Okay, I know what you're saying. And they were talking about making the third one, which never got off the ground.
Yeah, but even so, like, they could take a movie from then and then bring it over and make a new one.
Mind you, how many years were between Hobgoblins 1 and 2?
A long time.
There could possibly be a third Hobgoblins, just somebody has to be interested in giving a little bit of money. And I do mean a little bit, because neither of those movies, really cost a whole lot of money to make.
No, they did not.
That's what, Troma's all about, too, and especially now. But they've got friends all over the place. Like Samuel L. Jackson got his start in Troma movies. Death by Temptation. Mm-hmm. I know that Oliver North made a quick... was it Oliver? No, Oliver Stone. Not Oliver North. Different guys. Very different guys. Oliver Stone made a cameo in one of his movies. Ron Jeremy has been in a couple of the movies. But there's fairly well-known people that have been in and out of Troma movies throughout the years. I think like Marissa Tomei has been in there. Vincent D'Onofrio has been in one. And of course, our favorite, Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn and of course James Gunn. James Gunn, you know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we've been over this several times. So the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, soon to be the director of the third Guardian of the Galaxy movies, and the upcoming director of Suicide Squad. I guess a reboot. I don't know if it's a reboot or a reimaging.
I think they're doing a Suicide Squad 2. Pretty sure that's what's going on there.
I'm not sure it's supposed to be a direct sequel, because they're not using a lot of the same characters, and I think they... Outside of Harley Quinn, I think they're steering away from most of it. Most of what they did with that first, or didn't really do with that first movie. And let's admit, if you went and watched that movie, you saw Suicide Squad, right? Mm-hmm. What were you watching that movie for? I certainly wasn't watching that movie for friggin' Will Smith.
Right.
I was watching that movie for Margot Robbie.
Let me see here. Yeah, it's definitely a continuation of it.
So it's a continuation?
Well, another one. I mean, just different characters.
That's
Suicide Squad. You can pull any villain out and technically make them a part of the Suicide Squad.
Right, because the entire purpose was basically that these are lifers. These are hardened criminals that are in prison, and they're saying, hey, you know what? We can use you as basically cannon fodder. Throw you into a situation which should be impossible for you to get out.
And if you get out, you get time taken off.
Right.
If you try to run, we blow up your head.
Pretty much. There's a lot of movies that kind of use that. Hey, I'm going to blow off your skull if you try to run. Thought. One of my favorites is The Fortress. Christopher Lambert. If you ever get a chance... One of my favorite bad movies. And some people say not so bad. It did make a little bit of money in the theaters. But it got horrible ratings. It was critically panned. And The Fortress... One of my favorite fucking movies of his. Christopher Lambert of Highlander fame. First couple of Highlander movies. So actually all the Highlander movies.
There could only be one Highlander.
Exactly.
There are 50 movies.
Was that your impression of Sean Connery?
Shut up.
Shut up?
Shut up.
Okay, fine. Shut up. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll shut up permanently while our sponsors talk. We'll let the sponsors talk, and then we'll come back, and I'll stop shutting up. Yeah, listen to the sponsors. But only the sponsors. Don't listen to us. Yeah.
Listen to us.
Listen to us. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you for once again sitting through the sponsors. I always thank people for sitting through the sponsors, mainly because that's the boring shit, usually.
Hopefully.
Hopefully that's the boring shit. Yeah, hopefully you don't get to the sponsorship and oh man, this is great, and then you get back to the podcast and you're like, oh, fuck these guys again.
They have the best sponsors.
Can you roll that back? I want to just listen to the sponsors for 2 minutes, over and over and over again.
I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine.
I mean, you can do that too. That's the part that pays us, so feel free. But, I mean, you got to get through that 30 to 45 minutes that surround the sponsors. Please,
Yeah.
give us a chance, We may be fuck-ups, but we're lovable fuck-ups.
I'm not a fuck-up.
You sure?
JK, LOL.
I freely admit it.
Yeah, I'm openly admitting it.
I'm El Jefe, and I'm fuck-up.
I am Zeph, and I'm here.
It's certainly are.
It's so hard.
So we're, this is the Midweek Madness portion of our podcast, so we do not have our regular segments, which shortens it just a little bit, a little more compact. And so what we have here is we're going to go right on into our Pitchstorm portion of the podcast, where we sit down and we shoot the shit about ideas.
Pitchstorm!
Well, you can't sing about Podcoin anymore. They're fucking gone. Pitchstorm. I wish they weren't. I mean, they got us a lot of listeners, like, worldwide, who didn't seem to retain the interest after they were stopped. They weren't getting paid to listen to us anymore. They didn't get paid to listen to us, but we got paid for them to listen to us.
Yeah.
It was a two-way street. It was nice. It was symbiotic. We were just starting to get our sponsorships under control, and then Podcoin, I guess, just figured out that their model wasn't profitable.
Oh well, we're still here.
Who would have thought?
Pitchstorm.
Who would have thought that a medium that pays you to listen to an essentially free medium wouldn't be profitable? Anyway, so I've got a couple of cards from the Pitchstorm deck, and by the way, if you ever want to play one of these games, Skybound, that's the name of the company that makes Red Rad. I haven't had anything to drink, I swear to God.
And this is the first time you stumbled over your words, but what's a podcast?
Every single podcast, I have to stumble over my words. I'm waiting. We will celebrate the day that I make it an entire podcast without that. But until then, everybody is just going to point out, including myself, I'm usually my harshest critic. That's where you tripped, right there. You tripped over your tongue once a podcast, at least. Sometimes 3 or 4 times. So they make Red Flags. They make our favorite, Pitchstorm. And they also make, what is that other game here? Super Fight. So those are our 3 favorite games, and those are the things that we use to kind of come up with and create interesting little movies, scenarios, so on and so forth, which we hope to someday actually have the time to sit down and write. Of course, those dreams won't come to fruition if you don't listen more. Because, this is how we're getting paid for this. You listen, we speak.
Money, 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 money.
If you don't want us to speak, you could also pay us for that, too. I don't mind paying.
Just a dead air episode.
Just a dead air episode, yep. But I'll do it. You pay me enough, I'll do it. I will just sit there. They told us to shut up, so here you go. Okay. So, I've got the first set of cards for Pitchstorm all nice and drawn up because I really hate when we try to draw them mid-podcast because we're sitting here drawing cards and not really paying attention. So mine is a controversial small-town football coach battles a swarm of radioactive mutants. And the notes here say, what if we add 100 assassins trying to kill our main characters?
That's simple enough for the notes. The assassins could be the mutants or the aliens. Mutant aliens.
So they could be radioactive mutant assassins?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. So I see a lot of CGI happening with this movie. So a lot of voiceovers.
Yeah.
So we have a team of voiceover artists, and then we have our main characters, our guys. And this is a controversial small-town football coach. I'm feeling Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan, who will only, and why he's so controversial, is it's a predominantly white neighborhood, but he will only have black players on his team.
Well, that seems semi-racist, too.
It's not semi-racist.
He's like recruiting black players from like other towns to come there to play for his team.
Yeah.
And he's only got one white guy, the kicker. That's the only white guy in the entire team.
And like the other parents are like, well, like I want my kid to play.
What?
Like, what's your kicker run? A 4.2 or 4.5, then he can play. You know what I mean?
Just one white guy on the entire team, because as far as he's concerned, That's the only area where we can athletically let the white guy excel. Everybody else, no. You're not the linebacker. You're not the quarterback. You're not the running back. None of these wide receivers are white. No, all of them. All of them are black.
Yeah, when they talk to him during press conferences and stuff, they're like, why do you only have a black team? He goes, we don't only have a black team. We got the kicker.
All right.
Where the radioactive assassins come in are the parents of the white students who aren't allowed to play try and find a way to make their kids more athletic. So they try like radioactive material, which causes
I don't want to say it's radioactive material, so I'm going to go with the Troma route. I guess radioactive material, but you take the Troma route. They live around a power plant or something, like a nuclear power plant or whatever. Yeah. Okay, that's that Troma go-to special right there. Something mutates the people around them because it gets basically all nuked up. Toxic waste interacts with what? Basically, I feel like there's a guy that starts supplying them with steroids, but it's tainted steroids. All right, so these steroids, they start injecting, and at first it's, it's working fine. They're pumping up, and then all of a sudden, things start to sprout. New limbs, new bumps. There you go. You got your radioactive assassins, your mutants.
Well, they're not assassins at first, but then the kids start disappearing. They wonder why, and they don't want to go out in the public because of their deformities.
I don't think this is the... I got a better... go ahead. Keep going. You go up with your thing. I got something to interject.
Pretty much they're just no, this is all because of Tracy Morgan's character. You guys are going to go out and kill him. And that's why they go after him. That's how they become the assassins.
So my thought was that this is the rival team. So this is Tracy Morgan, he's controversial, but he's getting results. These guys are kicking ass. And they got this game upcoming. This is a rival team from a town away.
Yeah.
And so they're buffing up, trying to become a better team. So basically what you've got is you've got Tracy Morgan's controversial, team and his style. And then you've got this entire other team that is just a bunch of mutated, it looks like a murder bowl, basically. And they come up, it's basically, they're planning on playing football, but when they say, we're going to kill you, they literally fucking mean it. And it turns into this melee, brawl on the field, Yeah.
And then, we're coming for you. You know what I mean? They come after him, and he has to run away and defend himself. And he has to use his team.
So I say the first inkling that's all hell's going to break loose is they get out on the field and both teams kind of are introduced and they're not quite mutants at this point. They're just kind of a little deformed. They look a little weird, kind of graying skin, And they get out on... They're definitely much larger than the guys that are on the other teams. So Tracy Morgan's team, even though they're big guys, are dwarfed by these other guys. And it's they're looking at them what the fuck is going on? And...
Yeah, and I got this point, which would be nice. So the kicker, because they have to kick the ball off to them at first, they kick the ball. The guy running the ball, it's just, he's breaking all the tackles. It goes up against him versus the kicker, and he just lays him out. And then Tracy Morgan's yo, they just killed Timmy! You know what I mean? And
I say they lay him out, and because he's the kicker... The mutant just punts his head off.
Pretty much, you know what I mean?
Just right through the uprights.
And that, it's that, he even says something man, there goes my diversity. You know what I mean? But that sets it. Not only should this be a horror film, but on top of it being a horror film, the black guy does not die first in the movie.
No, he does not. The first guy to die is the white kicker.
Yeah, the white
just
kicker.
Period. He gets all pissed. Not just there goes my diversity. It's just this is what I get for having some little white dude on my team.
This is why I didn't want white players in the first place. It's bro,
you see, this is what I get. They get all angry with me. I hire a white guy. He gets his head kicked off through the uprights. Look at that right there.
all the controversy for him at the end, like, is done. You know what I mean? He can have the team however he wants to now.
Ref is just stunned, doesn't even throw a flag. Just, you blind ref, he killed him! You killed him, that's a foul! Come on, you know.
he's been paid off by the opposite side.
Yeah.
No, matter of fact, Tracy Morgan wouldn't let him on his team. Like, the ref's son on the team.
The ref.
So, like, no matter what's going on, he's just kind of just like... Hey,
fuck you, coach. Fuck you.
I didn't see what happened.
Nothing happened. Fuck you.
Like, that's clearly a foul.
As the game goes on, these guys just get completely just mutated. Like, one sprouts an arm, and the extra arm in the middle of the field.
You gotta be doing steroids or something. This is the best I can do for a Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. I can't even do Tracy Morgan.
But you understand.
I understand where you were going. Yeah. Look, guys, don't get angry with us. Two white guys trying to do Tracy Morgan. It's just... You're less white than I am, right?
I'm clear.
You're clear?
Yeah.
I thought you were like... You Greek, aren't you?
I'm a mutt. Yeah, but I am part Greek. I grew up in a gospel church, predominantly black. I listen to rap. I grew up on High Street.
So yeah. And no, you're not clear, okay? You got more street cred than I do. I grew up in fucking Georgetown, Massachusetts.
Yes, you are.
Probably the most lily white town in this entire area.
Right, you're white. I'm clear. You know what I mean? I don't have a color. You have...
I would say that I am culturally stunted. That's a good way to say it, right? Culturally stunted.
That's like a nice way to say racist.
No, I'm not racist.
I know he is far from it.
I am definitely not racist. I'm just culturally stunted. We'll go with that. Okay, I'm done. Anyway,
I feel like we could get Tracy Morgan for this though.
Remind yourself. The only person that we've cast in this movie is Tracy Morgan. Just
the ref that doesn't see anything is Daniel Tosh.
It's like not a single other person in this movie. I'm feeling it. Not another single person in this movie is important. It's always important. It's these guys fighting with each other, and then Tracy Morgan's reaction to the shit that's going down. That's the entire movie.
We should do the opposite person be Daniel Tosh. Like the opposite coach be Daniel Tosh, because he looks just like the 49ers coach.
Okay, I could see that.
49ers head. I believe it's the 49ers head coach.
49ers head coach?
While I'm Googling, you gotta talk.
Well, I didn't know you were going to start Googling. You're just talking Daniel Tosh, 49ers head coach, and then you picked up your phone and you're like, and coach, and Tosh, Daniel, 49ers. Well, I'm Googling. You got to talk, dude. Well, there you go. I'm filling the space. I have no idea. You're asking me head coaches, and that's another problem that I have. My father did not bring me up to watch professional sports in any manner whatsoever outside of the wonderful world of wrestling. So I've watched WWF, WWE, WWF. Oh my God, you are so fucking right. That is definitely like an old version of Daniel Tosh.
Jim Harborough.
You are definitely correct.
They look like it. And
they are related, or at the very least, Jim is Daniel's dad. One of the two, you know.
Little did they know.
Hey, Ancestry.com. There you go. Go check it out. Get tested, Daniel. If not for that, for many things you may have caught while in the middle of your act.
Possibly.
So, yeah, we didn't cast, okay, well, I guess we got Daniel Tosh versus Tracy Morgan. I think everybody else should just
be no names.
Just a bunch of no names. Those should be the headliners. It's just Daniel Tosh versus Tracy Morgan, you know? And I think that's really, that's all the star power you need. That's a whole lot of fucking funny right there if you give them the right script.
Right, exactly.
You know, the right things to react to.
You know, you could have Daniel Tosh at one end of the locker room, just like giving his like halftime speech, like we're dominating them, we're killing them, blah blah blah, and like the kids are all like feeling woozy and sick, and he's like bucker up, like chin up, mother.
You get Tracy Morgan like talking to his team. We're getting killed out there. He gets so angry he even punts the white kid's head.
Yeah, we're getting killed out there. Even Jimmy got killed. Jimmy literally got killed out there. I like this one.
Yeah, I do. This is something that, I mean, they should make something like this. This would be absolutely funny. It's like, actually, you know, this is starting to feel like Space Jam for football, almost.
Kinda.
Yeah, we got. Well, except for they're not all cartoons. We're talking humans versus mutants, but still, that should at least be like a mode in Madden.
Yeah, mutation mode.
Mutation mode, where you can have the All-Stars, the NFL All-Stars here versus just a bunch of fucking mutants from like what was that? What is it, Battle Bowl or Blood Bowl or whatever? There's a video game out there that's just like a bunch of mutants that just get on the field and just fucking kill each other playing football.
Not sure.
It looks like
I'm not the video game.
It looks like Dungeons and Dragons on a football field almost. It's a little weird. I don't know. It's something. Hey, write us. Put it in the comments below. Anything. Hey, do us a favor. Just comment on anything we do.
Yeah.
That's all we're looking for. A few comments, a few people to say nice job, or a few people to say fuck you, Seth, so he can actually have his segment.
Yeah.
That's what he's looking for.
Everybody hates me, but I love you. Listen to the words that I say. Fuck you too. I don't know. I'm trying to get myself like my own theme song for Everybody Hates Seth.
Sure.
It'll be.
That's what you were trying to do.
Fuck me. No. Fuck you.
That seems a little bit more like it. Yeah, that's more like, you don't need a theme song. You just need to tell them to fuck off. You know, it should just be starting off the theme song and you just coming in. Fuck that. Turn it off. Fuck you. Fuck the theme song. Fuck everybody.
Down.
I don't need a fucking theme song. Let's get to this. And just right in there and just rip into people. So, alright. So I think we're done here.
That's a great one.
That is a great one.
Put that one on the burner.
That one is on
the back burner, the front burner.
I've got to write all these down. I've actually got to go and like sit down and listen to the ends of each of our podcasts and just write these ideas down.
Still have Myrtle Leach.
Myrtle Leaches. That's the one of the first ones. We decided not to do the one with the Tijuana horse fucking. We decided to stay away from that because, well,
might be able to sell that in Tijuana.
Could probably sell that to Kevin Smith. He did have a whole donkey show in one of his movies.
Clerks 2?
Clerks 2, yes.
Alright, so on to the next one.
Yes.
An A-list Hollywood star on the edge of bankruptcy struggles to survive after a deadly shipwreck. What's the coolest thing in the movie that we could sell as a toy? Great. Now put that in every scene.
Okay. So you realize that you picked cards out of each deck and you've basically got the entire plot to fucking Castaway, right?
No.
The entire... Tom Hanks crashes on an island.
But it wasn't Tom Hanks who crashed on an island.
I'm just saying. What you have is you have an A-list celebrity that crashes on an island after... It wasn't a shipwreck. I think it was a plane that went down.
Plane crash.
A plane crash. But then he ends up, his best buddy is Wilson, the fucking volleyball that he turns into...
When I did say the toy put in every scene, I did think of Wilson. I'm not going to lie.
That's exactly what I was thinking, too.
So, the A-list Hollywood star on the edge of bankruptcy. Let's give Kevin Spacey some stuff here.
No, we're not giving Kevin Spacey anything. No. He still hasn't gotten out of his thing yet. You don't want to put a star in your...
cheap. He's going to be bankrupt soon. We got this. Like he's already in the mindset of this character. All right.
Kevin Spacey. Okay, fine. Kevin Spacey, even though he's a bit rapey.
Listen, he touched a dude's junk. So whatever.
I think it was. I don't even think it was he touched a Jude. Twice. I've already tripped on my tongue twice. God fucking damn it. I don't think he touched a dude's junk. I think it was just like inappropriate. He was just being inappropriate.
Yeah, the dude never told him no once.
Well, he told him...
If I sit next to you and I start grabbing your junk and you just accept it... Yeah, maybe I'm being creepy, but not once ever you sit there and you don't go, hey, dude, stop that. I don't like it.
I think wasn't the whole deal like this kid was underage at the time?
Drinking at a bar.
Underage drinking at a bar. I don't know. I'll have to go look into the whole Kevin Spacey thing. I'm not entirely sure what was surrounding that.
He was texting his girlfriend like, dude, I think he's gay. Oh, like he touched my dick. Like he's texting his girlfriend all the stuff as if it's a joke.
Okay. Kevin Spacey touched my dick. I don't know if that's a joke. I don't know if I'd take that as a joke.
Not once did he say, hey, dude, don't do that again.
No? You were there?
The text messages.
Oh, okay.
Not once did he say,
messages
I keep telling him to stop. You know what I mean? No, like him and his girlfriend's like, maybe he'll take you home. All this stuff. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
maybe in 20 years we can use this. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's what a lot of people think when celebrities act inappropriate now. It's like, hold on. Is this like really inappropriate? Like, am I in danger, or is this something that I can use when the shit hits the fan? Yeah, we'll put it aside and say that I was really uncomfortable and he was acting kind of rapey in about 5 years.
Yeah, they try to get Morgan Freeman.
They tried to get a lot of people.
Morgan Freeman.
Kevin Hart.
Whatever, Kevin Hart. I can see that.
Aziz,
of course, Aziz
Ansari. Oh my God, that voice.
All right, let's get back to this movie before I go on my political rant.
There you go. Whatever the toy is, he hallucinates, and he is voiced by Aziz Ansari.
Okay, that we can do.
So we are going to put Aziz in our movie.
It's as a matter
of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, we are not going to get anybody for this movie that isn't a disgraced Hollywood star.
In some way, shape, or form.
Everybody. We're going to get Mel Gibson. We're going to go get, what's his name? Danny, is it Masterson? Guy from that 70s show with the curly hair that was just recently, like, outed for being sexually inappropriate or whatever. Got fired from the ranch and everything.
No, I didn't hear that one, but we could get him.
Nope. Yeah, that's why he's not on the ranch anymore.
That's all I know.
Yeah, Hyde. We'll just call him Hyde. That way you know who we're talking about.
So, him, who else?
Just
plenty. Bill Cosby, we'll get him in prison. We'll get a prison seat of him.
Dustin Diamond.
Bill Cosby's the narrator.
Oh my God. Have him narrate it just like he was narrating the old Cosby Kids TV show.
And he struggles to survive after a deadly shipwreck. Now, mind you, all these characters die. They're on a cruise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the reason why he initially gets on the, he's on the edge of bankruptcy, he goes on the cruise trying to, get part of a movie. And little does he know that this is, like, the assassination, it's the purge of just all filthy Hollywood.
Filthy Hollywood, yeah, just basically celebrities. So you got everybody there. You got, like, Kobe's there.
Yeah. But, the reason why Bill Cosby is narrating it is because he survives. But he just, like, washes up on shore. You know what I mean? And
I think that should be the first part that he narrates. Like, you see the water rolling back and forth on the shore, and then he washes up and he immediately opens his eyes and starts narrating the movie.
Yeah. And, matter of fact, the two of them make it to the island together. But he survives somehow. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, you know what, I'm going to make a raft and I'm going to leave, and he makes the raft, washes up. And
say different parts of the island. I say, like, Cosby's just being uber creepy the entire movie. Just like, hiding behind trees, watching and, like, narrating out loud. Like, you can see him narrating, and he's watching these people narrating the whole thing. There's I say a handful of people.
Yeah.
Just kind of make it different parts of the island kind of wash up, And
we do this, like, the toy that it is.
Okay.
Is a Kevin Spacey's bobblehead.
It's a Kevin Spacey bobblehead?
Yeah.
Okay.
That, like, he was bringing to also, like, pitch to the people on the cruise.
No, I don't see that. The only reason why I don't see that is because if you're going to do a Kevin Spacey bobblehead, you got to basically act like Kevin Spacey's talking to himself. You can't have that voiced by Aziz Ansari.
Oh, yeah. But you could. He's like, you're me. Why do you sound like that? He's like, oh.
Because this is how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
You think you're all high and mighty? You're wrong! And that is absolutely the best disease that I can do because I suck at disease.
I like it. I got where you're going.
I got where you were going with Tracy Morgan, but
Tracy Morgan does a little, cameo in there too.
Are there any disgraced female stars out there? Has there been any women that have been called out at all?
We can get Cardi B.
There is a woman that it was called out. Actually, one of my favorite female horror movie stars, Asia Argento.
What happened with her?
She was just called out for being the whole thing. It's not like people are.
I got another one, but go on.
It's not like people are being raped or people are being sexually assaulted. This is literally a lot of people that are just being called out for being. It's what do they call it? Sexual is it misconduct? Basically, they're basically being aggressive in their pursuit of other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're not talking like Harvey. What's his name? Weinstein, who was literally just like holding young starlets' entire careers in the balance if they didn't do shit for him.
Yeah. Then we have Allison Mack.
Allison Mack and what's her name? Kristen Kirk.
Kristen Kirk is
Kirk.
What'd she do?
She was part of that whole thing. Allison Mack got her into it.
Really? Into the whole sex trade stuff?
Yep, she's on trial too.
I didn't know that. I loved her. I love them both. I love Smallville.
I was good with Smallville. Was not really terribly impressed with her version of Chun-Li.
I didn't like the ending of Smallville, mind you. That was the worst ending of a show ever.
I think that the show went off the... Go ahead.
Except for Game of Thrones.
I think that entire show went off the rails as soon as they lost Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, and then Tom Welling picked it back up and...
Well, you know who Tom... did I say Tom Rosenbaum? Michael Rosenbaum.
You were talking about the director.
No, the guy that plays Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
As soon as they lost him, the fact that they could not get him back for if they had just... That show would have been perfect if they could have just gotten him back to end the show. Last couple episodes or something.
Yeah. He actually played a really good Lex Luthor.
Probably one of my favorite Lex Luthor interpretations. I have not gotten to see Michael Cryer do Lex Luthor yet. Not Michael Cryer. God damn it with my names. I'm like fucking up left and right. Remember with the Will Ferrell thing? I kept calling him Will Smith?
Yeah.
John Cryer. You know who John Cryer is? The other part of 2.5 Men?
Yeah. But
John Cryer currently plays Lex Luthor on Supergirl.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't really watch Supergirl, so...
Actually, not a bad show at all. I am really enjoying the DC television shows a lot more than I enjoyed.
I've watched a lot of them, but not that one.
No, that's definitely worth watching.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is. It's obvious. It's obviously a little romance-centric, but a lot of these shows have, like, deep romantic angles that they... Okay.
No romance for you, Sugar.
And, that would be Sugar... barking at strangers in the background. Can't really soundproof the whole apartment. The dog is just as loud as the dog's going to be. So, yeah.
Yeah, but all disgraced characters that got killed off.
I'd say that Kevin Spacey is probably the worst Lex Luthor that I've ever seen.
Yes.
And mind you, it was a bad movie in general. He didn't really get a chance. But, I mean, I even rank him lower than Eisenberg.
I like what they did with this character.
Jesse?
Yeah.
Eisenberg? I think he was too manic.
That's the thing. Like, they didn't give the backstory, too much of a backstory as to why he is the way that he is, but he played a villain. You know what I mean? He didn't play... I mean, with Lex Luthor, he kind of is called calm, cool, and collective, but he... You know, the way that they portrayed it, he was manic. You know what I mean? He was so smart that he was crazy.
Well, here's the thing that I have...
He played a mad scientist.
The trouble that I have with DC TV versus DC movies. You watch DC TV, and obviously they've got time to develop the characters. You can get villains that you get really deep into the villains, really deep into the actors, the heroes, all the twists and turns. But for some reason, when they make a fucking movie for DC, they focus so hard on the actual superhero character
Excuse me.
that they just completely forget to do a decent job developing the fucking villain. The main reason for the fucking movie. I'm sorry, the superhero is not a fucking superhero unless there is a supervillain to fucking fight.
Well, you know, they do a great job in Marvel Universe. Why can't they do it in DC?
I don't know why. They do a really... See, the thing is that with Marvel, the Marvel villains hold almost as much screen time, if not in some cases more, than the actual superheroes do. Whereas with DC, for some reason, you just see snippets. You didn't see a whole lot of the fucking Joker.
Right.
You saw little bits and pieces. You barely saw any of Doomsday before he hit.
We do have to eliminate Christian Bale's Batman. They did very well with backstories on the Joker. Well, not backstory, but you know what I mean. The Joker had a lot of face time. At the first one, Batman Begins, I can give you that one.
That's a standalone thing, though. Like the first set of Batman movies, like the first set of Spider-Man movies. Those are standalone things. That's not MCU. That's not DCU.
Yeah, it's not like a part of the universe.
Yeah, they're not. They're kind of standalone characters up until what they just recently did. So, have you watched the TV show? Like any of the TV shows recently for DC?
Yeah.
Okay, so currently they're in the middle of the Crisis on Infinite Earths thing.
Yeah, you better not spoil any of this.
I'm not trying to spoil anything. What I'm saying is that unlike what the movies are doing, because the movies, DCU, they completely ignore everything that came before them.
Yeah.
Just completely. However, the TV show actually pays homage to what's going on out here a little bit, but has, with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, they brought back Welling. They brought back Routh, both as Superman.
Yeah.
They even did a little homage to Michael Keaton's Batman.
They do it.
He is one of the alternate universe Batmans, but mind you, they don't show him. Yeah. He's not actually in the TV show because fucking DC. They're not going to get Michael Keaton to do a cameo.
But they're doing. That universe, their TV universe is great, well put together.
Very well.
You know what I mean?
Together.
It started with Arrow. Arrow brought in Flash. Flash meets Supergirl. You know what I mean? They do very well.
Flash meets Supergirl, and then because of I think Supergirl, we now have Batgirl, and because of all these shows together, we have the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes, which are the mediocre characters. Like, what they explain, when I say mediocre characters, what they explain is, like, the reason why we chose you guys is because you don't make a great impact on this world, on your worlds. You know what I mean? Like, in the future, you don't matter. You know what I mean? Which sucks, but they're like, you are of use, but if you weren't there, it doesn't affect the future.
Right.
So
Captain Cold, of all fucking things.
Who becomes a good guy.
He's a joke in most of the DC universe. He's like one of the joke characters that they constantly kind of just throw at Flash on it. He's just a nuisance. Like, God, flick you. Well, you get out of here.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'd say of all the TV shows for the DC universe, my favorite is The Flash.
Yeah, I love The Flash.
Absolutely love The Flash.
Arrow, I've kind of gotten away from. It's just repetitive bullshit. I still watch it.
I want to see if they actually... Because there's one other DC TV show that they haven't really tied into the universe. Actually, two, if you think about
Which
it.
Which ones?
There is Lucifer, that they didn't tie into the actual TV shows yet. That's a DC television show. Lucifer is a character from the Vertigo line of DC Comics.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's part of that universe.
It is and it isn't.
And if you say Constantine, he has been involved.
He actually hasn't... Constantine hasn't been involved in the TV show yet, but I'm really hoping that Netflix... Lucifer?
No.
Constantine hasn't been involved
Constantine
in that.
has... No, not in Lucifer, but Constantine has been involved.
No, the other TV show...
DC Universe.
The other TV show that didn't get picked up that's also a DC property is iZombie.
See, but that's not...
Again, it's a DC
Justice
property.
League.
It's a DC property, technically part of the DC universe if you're talking comic book wise. However, it's sort of a separate entity altogether. I'd love to see them bring it in, but I don't know how the hell you're going to have a mass of zombies, and unless you're going to do DC Zombies, which would be interesting, I will admit. Anyway.
Crisis on Infinite Earths, you can do anything.
We were talking about your movie, weren't we?
I think we got offhand on it. That was enough.
Way offhand.
Just
what was your movie again?
An A-list superstar, Kevin Spacey, struggles to survive a deadly shipwreck, and he has a miniature toy.
He has a miniature toy, yeah. I just like the idea of taking all of the currently disgraced television and movie stars and just shipbreaking them on an island together and seeing how they're going to interact with each other.
Yeah.
But it's all guys and there are no women in sight.
This is a couple.
Which wouldn't bother Kevin Spacey all that much, I'm guessing.
And we can throw Martha Stewart in there because, she's...
Martha Stewart.
She was indicted.
There's Asia Argento. I don't think there are any other really disgraced female stars.
Cardi B. The whole thing, Cardi B openly admitted it on live.
Yeah, it wasn't something she got caught doing.
But she admitted that I drugged and robbed men all the time. And everybody's like, oh yeah, girl power. Like, no.
No, not girl power. That's
That got me so mad. Like, nobody says a goddamn thing about that. But, God forbid if a guy were to do that, you know what I mean? Drug a girl and steal all her money. It's a huge thing.
Okay, so we got Mel Gibson. Oh, who's a disgraced star just because of just bad behavior and the fact that she fell off, got all sorts of bad surgery, and just sort of has become the white trash of Hollywood, so to speak. And I loved her as an actress in a lot of stuff before she just fell off the face of the map. Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Of Sharknado fame. But Tara Reid would be a good one. Stacey Dash.
Stacey Dash.
Do you know who Stacey Dash is?
Not.
You do not know Stacey Dash. You've watched the movie Clueless, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cher. On Clueless. Taking those ones?
Those are the ones that we did.
Those are the ones we did. Okay.
No, so, yeah, just essentially it becomes like mayhem on the island. Bill Cosby's the survivor.
You know what I feel? I feel like they all shipwreck on an island, but it's purposeful. Somebody purposefully wrecks the ship, and it turns into sort of a battle royal kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where the only person who gets off the island and has their record wiped clean is the last survivor.
And it's Bill Cosby.
And Bill Cosby, the one who's narrating the entire thing. Just
who could say? I mean, yeah, it's from like Spacey's point of view. But
just this elderly Bill Cosby, just
because like he's who could pass him a pudding pop? You know what I mean?
After all the stuff that's happened with him, that takes a whole new connotation on.
Exactly. They got the pudding pops and the popsicles and you know what I mean? And they're like, oh yeah, Bill Cosby brought pudding pops. Half of them are gone because half of them are like, nah, like we're not eating it. The other half are just like, it's Cosby, man, and they eat them. And they're dead.
They Jim Jones themselves. It's like, you ate the fucking popsicle, you idiot. I told you not to do that. Well, you deserve it. You eat the popsicle. He tells you to eat the popsicle. It's Jim Jones all over again. Everybody's laying face down. You're an idiot.
I think that's about as far as we can go with it.
I think we got off on a TV tangent for a minute.
Which is fine. This is cinematic. This is
what we do.
About cinematic universes in all shapes and forms. Not just movies, but television as well.
We call it Cinematic Anarchy for a fucking reason. Because we did not intend to ever, at any point, do this with any coordination whatsoever. We got it. We sat down. We said, we got a fucking mic. We got a fucking computer. We got a bunch of people that like to talk. We like to shoot the shit about movies. We like to shoot the shit about life. And that's what we do. We sit around. We shoot the shit. And sometimes we'll sit down and we'll love a movie enough that we'll talk about it for hours on end. And sometimes we will love a movie enough that we'll talk about it for 5 minutes and then talk about some guy waking up with a dick in his mouth.
Dick in the mouth.
Which, thank you for that one, Omar. We appreciate the 30-minute conversation about somebody with a dick in their mouth and fishy pussy. that was a blast. I contributed. You what?
I contributed.
You were actually there for a Sunday podcast, my dude. That's
Think with my new schedule, I'll be around.
That'll work. You gonna be here this weekend?
More than likely.
Okay. I'm not gonna say what we're doing this weekend, just in case. I should be putting this out tomorrow night, but
just forget about it.
Just in case. Well, say goodbye. Say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. That's how you're supposed to end that.
Good night, Gracie.
You don't remember the old. You're not. God, I'm fucking old. Damn it. All right.
Well, thank you for participating in yet another episode of Cinematic Anarchy. This has been brought to you by our sponsors and brought to you by the insanity of Chris and Zeph.
And please ignore the very loud car that passed by while you were giving your little speech at the end there.
It's okay.
And we don't edit shit, so that's going to stay in there.
It's fine.
All right. We out.